Hi everybody. Hey, if you'd like to see a review on the Woodland Mills stump grinder, join me right now on Today in Iowa. Well, hi everybody. Thanks for taking time out of your busy lives to watch my videos. I sure appreciate it. A buddy of mine bought a Woodland Mills stump grinder, and I'm showing some pictures here of how it arrived in a steel shipping crate. And Mark was creative enough to repurpose that shipping crate into a rollable workbench. The owner's manual is very well written. Here's a copy of the page that shows all the technical specifications. If you want to stop and take a picture of that, this might be a good time to do that. Otherwise, I'm going to be talking about that through the video. I would tell you confidently that the grinder's delivered probably 95% assembled. For example, here's the chainsaw holder. And the manufacturer states, hey, this is for transport. Take it off when you're actually running the grinder. That seems like common sense, doesn't it? This grinder is suitable for 20 to 50 horsepower tractors. And like I say, you're going to have to bolt on the chip deflector. The owner's manual tube comes separate, and the PTO shipped loose. That's a trimmable PTO shaft, so you'll have to fit it to your tractor, and it has to be bolted onto the grinder. Here's a few examples in the owner's manual, starting off with how to get the shipping crate off and get it out of there. There's a link there that you'll just loosen and rotate around, and then you'll be able to lift it and lift the grinder right off of that shipping crate. And here's an example of their instructions on bolting off the chip deflector, the owner's manual tube, and the chainsaw holder. Very, very well written instructions, easy to assemble anything that's loose, and maintenance appears to be very well written. They have a very detailed section there on flywheel tooth torquing, and they even supply you with a wrench that's needed to do that. Then the pre-start checklist goes into a few things, and one that I wanted to particularly point out is that it comes greased from the factory, and it advises you not to grease it. Let's look at the instructions on actually grinding the stump. Talks about always starting on the right side of the stump. You're looking at it is as if you were at the rear of the stump grinder right now and looking at it. And we're going to get into that more as we start grinding the stumps. But take a moment and read the instructions on how to do effective cutting on that stump, what to look for so that you don't come through too fast or too slow. And, well, let's talk about that here in a little bit. It is iMatch compatible, and don't be surprised you're going to need a couple of bushings to size that up for a nice fit. Now, when it comes to adjusting the sway links, the sway chains, make sure they're tightened properly. I'm looking in the owner's manual, and it talks about when the links have been properly adjusted, side sway of the implement's controlled by the position of the links. A small amount of sway, a ½ inch to an inch, is needed for many implements. So you'll have to make that decision based on your experience. Well, let's pull the gear up and go out and grind something. What do you say? We're going to remove the locking pin for transportation. Let's get that out of the way now. Get everything warmed up, and we're going to go out and grind a few stumps. All right, we've picked out a stump. Let's start with an on-seat PTO start. That would be the throttle down, rear PTO on. Increase the RPM to 540, and then we'll position the tractor so that the stump grinder is on the back side. And we're going to start on the right side and drive forward. Now take your time, take a shallow bite at first. There's a little bit of coordination here that you're going to have to learn. So as you're driving forward, you'll want to drive forward, then you'll raise the grinder, and you'll back up, lower it to the height you want, drive forward, and repeat. Now while you're grinding, find a place where you can look back behind the tractor. In this case, we found a spot between the roll bar that we can see the flywheel going to look at the depth and how much we're taking off the stump. Now, please note if the flywheel is pivoting backwards, that's indicating you're overloading the grinder and you're going to want to slow down a little bit. while we're watching the video here, I'd just like to remind you, the flywheel rotates at 540 RPM. It's made of a 3/4 inch thick plate. It has 34 tungsten carbon teeth that are removable and replaceable, and it can also be sharpened. Those instructions are in the owner's manual. Now, a couple other details you may be interested in. The housing is all 5/16 thick plate. The shipping weight's 470 pounds. The maximum depth below grade is 6 inches. The maximum cutting depth per pass is 5 inches. And I would surely advise you to consider the species of wood that you're cutting before you would take that kind of bite. If you enjoy my videos, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up, and even better yet, a subscription, please. The thumbs up is really helpful with YouTube's analytics. So thanks in advance for doing that. I sure appreciate it.
Now you can see he's getting a little bit below the doil. He's getting below the dirt.
I was just making a comment there that he's getting down now flush with the ground. And he started to move over now to the left. And when I make reference to right and left, I'm speaking as if I'm standing behind the tractor looking at the grinder. And here I'm also pointing out the grinder, the way it throws that discharge out. It's probably a good idea to keep that clear and not have everybody over that way. As we watch this, I noticed the sway links must be adjusted right. The machine isn't moving around very much. There's not a lot of vibration. Seems to be like a pretty nice clean cut, doesn't it? While we watch the video, I just want to do a shout out to some of my longtime viewers. CD out in California, Helensman in North Carolina. Andrew, he moved from the Pacific Northwest down to Texas. Dean Barr, hear from Dean quite a bit. I got a kick out of SRJ's comment. He missed the intro music in the last video, so I put it back in. Aaron, hey, you're a new subscriber. Thanks a lot, buddy. I sure appreciate it. Let's see, we heard from Denzel out in West Virginia. Got family out there. Beautiful country, part of the world. And then Crypto Salamander from Nova Scotia, Canada. Thanks for taking time to check in, friends. I appreciate it.
And just working your way through it. I'll take a look at the video and see how long this is taking. But I think it's going pretty good.
We're going to do one stump for you today because it represents other stumps that we did that day also. But this is real time. I haven't edited much out of this, so I didn't look at the time, but what you're seeing is the actual time it took to grind that stump out of there. As I said before, Mark here can grind down 6 inches below the top of his lawn there if he would like. So this has turned out to be a pretty useful machine. Mark has also recently purchased a wood chipper from Woodland Mills. Subscribe so you won't miss that review. We're going to get that done here over winter. And as always, I sure appreciate you sharing part of your day and watching my videos. And I always appreciate hearing from you. If it's only to say hello and where you're watching from, I sure appreciate that. Well, before my voice gives out, I'm going to say so long, everybody. Be kind to each other, and we'll talk to you real soon. We're going to wrap this video up here fade to black, and I'll talk to you real soon, everybody. So long. So this is an example of a straight down tooth. And here's an angled tooth. And then you got these straight ones on the face.